we have a candidate for vice chair? No, oh, I know. Oh, no. I'm assuming you're pulling. Oh,
No, you're right.
oh, no, I mean, a little bit, yeah, I like, a lot of things to get a good rest. That would be what I
Call this meeting to order at 6:06 p.m. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so let's go. The sign sheet is coming around, so make sure you sign in for folks that are in person. Appreciate it. Let's go over our agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Sarah motion, Megan seconds, on fair, please raise your hand. Please lower your hands. All against, please raise your hands. All abstaining, please raise your hands. All right, we'll vote 8-0. That is approved. Thank you. Okay, so now going into our minutes, I hope everyone was able to look at those from last time. Was there anything that needs to be changed or everything was good? Okay, if so, can I have a motion to approve those minutes from last time?
I move to approve the minutes from 11/7. Second.
All right, Sarah motion, Gabby seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. Please lower your hands. All against, please raise your hands. All abstaining, please raise your hands. We have 8-0 vote. The minutes are approved from last meeting. Okay, moving forward, let's see. Okay, so now we'll be going into public comment. Public comment, just remember, please do not use any dehumanizing language. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. And our other community guidelines challenge ideas about individuals and use gender inclusive and respectful language. Is anybody here for public comment in Zoom or in person? In person? We'll have you come up to this, to the line, introduce yourself for our minute keeper, and then you'll be all set. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I think it's the day of the week. My name is Javier. I am from the EVP office, and I'm just here to promote the upcoming Students of Color conference that's going to be happening in January 2024. A lot of you I've seen have already reposted through your respective offices' Instagram, so I thank y'all. But to everyone here and to everyone on Zoom, I really want y'all to please conduct a little bit more outreach to either the student bodies that you guys respectively serve, as well as people within your own offices that might be interested. It's an all expenses paid trip to UC Merced, to bring together students of color from all across the UC system, engage in conversations that will have an impact on how we advocate and, you know, move forward in the coming year to advocate for students of color across the UC and improve quality of life and education. And just putting this out there, but I'm also going to be the delegate lead for UCLA this year, so y'all can direct any and all questions to the UCLA EVP Instagram at ucla.evp, or you can contact me personally. Eva has my information, so please reach out, because I am trying to really boost up numbers from last year and also get a lot more representation from students who are not in student government spaces as well. So if you guys know anyone who even might be remotely interested, it's the weekend after week 3 of winter quarter. There should be hardly anything, because I swear if y'all say you have midterms, I'm sorry, y'all should still come. It's gonna be a fun time. But yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and I see we have a hand on Zoom. Okay, we're gonna promote you in a second. Oh.
Hello.
Okay. Here.
Hi, my name is Stefania, and I'm a representative of the Conbrio String Orchestra. I'm just coming to ask about the CAC ARC funding. We submitted our application on the correct timeline, and we've been in kind of contact with CAC about receiving a hearing timeline, which was supposed to be week 5 of fall quarter, but we have yet to receive a hearing time, and just coming to ask if that is arriving and if we could receive a little bit more clarity and communication around that.
I want to thank you for taking the time to come to our meeting tonight. Unfortunately, a representative nor proxy from our Cultural Affairs Commission is currently here at the moment. But you speaking this statement right now does not go unheard. I will definitely be following up on your behalf as well to talk about this with the commissioner.
Thank you.
Can you, oh, sorry, before you go, can we have your organization name? Can you place into the Zoom chat for us?
Yes.
And
Chat
then
is disabled.
for you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The chat is currently disabled.
Yeah. Oh, can you put it into the Q&A and then with an email so we can reach back out to you?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we'll be going to our other public comment on Zoom.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. My name is Harris Kassar. I'm going to make this really quick. I'm a representative from the Viet Student Union here at UCLA, just representing the Viet Culture Night program. I just wanted to also second the ARC comments. So I'll also do the same instructions there. But thank you for your quick time here at least.
Thank you, Harrison. I appreciate it. Okay. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Okay, with that, I'll be closing public comment at 6:13 p.m. Thank you. Okay, now we'll be working forward with our funding. Let's go ahead and start with capital contingency. Lucy. Lucy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So I will also just paste this in the chat. All the allocations are on the universal allocation spreadsheet. But this week we had a total contingency programming request of $14,682.45, and we recommend an allocation of $4,061.67 for 20 non-USAC entity and 2 USAC entity related events. Happy to answer any questions. I'm going to paste this in the chat, and again, all of that information is on the universal allocation spreadsheet, and that is linked on the agenda. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I motion to approve the contingency programming allocation of $4,061.67 for 20 non-USAC entity and 2 USAC entity related events.
I second.
Okay, Megan motions, Evan seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. Please raise your hands. All against, please raise your hands. All abstaining, please raise your hand. All right, with an 8-0-1 vote, that is approved. Thank you. Now moving back to Lucy for contingency programming. Oh, it was? Oh, my bad. Sorry, I wasn't sure.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I meant to strike the capital contingency.
Oh, okay. My bad. I was not.
Sorry, no, that's my bad. Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll be moving with SFS allocations. Do you have a mic over there?
No. Hi everyone. So for this week, we had a total requested amount of 4,815 and a total allocated amount of 3,441, with
fund with 3 CSE affiliated organizations and 2 non-CSE affiliated organizations.
Thank you. And that was just any opposition? All right, that's approved. Thank you. All right, now moving to SWC programming fund allocations. Jenna.
Sorry, did you say SWC?
Yep.
Okay, I am in transit, so it's gonna take me a second to write it, but the programming fund this week received $0 from USAC, $0 in requests from USAC entities and $1,000 in requests from non-USAC entities, and we recommend an allocation of 0 for both.
Any opposition? All right, that's approved. Okay, cool. Now moving to Brand Advocacy Grant allocations. Is either one possible? Or,
It's actually so light.
okay. Is the number on the like thingy? Yeah. Should we read it out or just or, yeah, no, okay, skip. Okay, not going to, skip, not going to ASRF allocation, John.
Yes, sorry, we recommend an allocation of $1,000 to one non-USAC.
I love solid numbers, okay, so any opposition? Okay, that was approved, awesome. So now moving to AAC travel mini grant allocations.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to strike that.
Oh, okay, cool. Strike it. And then skip for ARC allocations, and then going to TGIF. Evan.
Yeah, the Green Initiative Fund allocated $6,305.53 to 4 non-USAC entities and 0 USAC entities.
You got that, Sydney? Thank you. Okay, now moving to USA bond allocations. Sarah.
Was it?
Bond.
Oh,
BOD?
oh, we presented last week.
Oh. Good job. Stricken. Okay.
I did not. Oh, no, it's okay, because the two of us are.
Oh, no. Perfect. Okay, and the appointment for finance committee associate is not here. Oh, yay. Yay, okay, so quick reminder about appointment form. They give a 1-minute introduction, then we go into a brief question and answer period. They give their 1-minute concluding statement, then we hear Art's kind of recap of their interview with their decision, their vote and kind of statement. And then go ahead and go to the vote for council members. Okay, so let's go ahead and promote our appointment for tonight. Oh, and start whenever you're ready with your 1-minute introduction.
So sorry, getting all the access had to get everything through. But hi everyone, I'm Shireen Dunker. I am a second-year MCDB major, and I'm going applying for the finance committee associate position after being on the group last year, learning just a lot of the logistics and basics of it. I'm excited to come back this year and give my insight on things like improving financial transparency, increasing our audits, and overall just general increasing teamwork amongst the group. And yeah, I'm excited for hopefully an upcoming year. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from council members? Gabby. Let's go to Sarah.
Hi. Oh. Hello. Oh, hi. Given that you were on the committee last year, is there anything specifically that you would change if you were appointed for this position?
Yeah, okay. Specifically about the finance committee itself, I think a lot of our work is, remote, individual, kind of making your own opinions and doing allocations based upon that. This year, I think it would be really nice if we incorporated more of like group opinions and just worked more as a team in the sense of doing allocations, because by spreading it out and doing it remote, it doesn't feel as connected, and we don't really communicate as much about like how everyone's individual beliefs and fundings is like, is it all equitable? You know, are we all getting to these diverse clubs across campus? Because we're just focused on our narrow, like individual focus part. So I think bringing in more of like group chats and like meeting more in a sense of ensuring those kinds of things would be important for the next year.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, thank you so much for coming into our council meeting. I have two questions. One, could you please expand on how you hope to increase financial transparency of FICOM? And two, actually answer that and I'll ask my second question because it's a long.
I didn't catch the second part of that question, so I'll just go ahead with the first right now. But so for increasing financial transparency, I think a lot of people don't really know what the finance committee does, or like how it's a part of USAC and how we directly impact all the clubs on campus. So I think increasing financial transparency with students that aren't even involved in clubs, like where are their student fees going? How is this money and like this big student government organization being allocated? I think we need to find a way to, you know, reach general students who aren't involved in it. And then two, students who are involved in clubs, making sure that, you know, all clubs on campus know that they have access to us. I think we get a lot of the same clubs that apply every time. And it's because they know about our funding and what we offer, but increasing like our reach across campus would increase our financial transparency in a sense of, you know, making it more well-known to everyone would allow us to, that's what I'm looking for, you know, have that equitable funding and then be able to see like where our numbers really go, and we're not just specifically concentrating on a certain amount of organizations on campus. And then I didn't catch the second part of your question. I'm sorry.
No, you're so good. The second part was, as you know, probably from being on FICOM last year, is we have an increasing number of student orgs asking for an increasing number of funds with the same amount of funds. So how do you plan on, what do you plan on prioritizing when allocating funds to student organizations?
Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot of times when I'm reading through applications, we get a lot of social events and things like that. That are more like within the club and organization of itself. And while it's important that we, you know, like support their like bonding and things like that, increasing teamwork across campus, I think my priorities lie in which the clubs that are trying to, you know, promote something other than themselves, in the sense, you know, having an event that's like open for everyone on campus, or, you know, like targeting local high schools in the area or outside, like expanding their reach, especially and then especially in like helping support the clubs that don't really earn as much funding throughout the year as like other big clubs that do apply multiple times. I think we could do better at tracking that, which comes back to like the teamwork aspect that I'm hoping that we get back to this year, tracking that and making sure that, you know, our funding reaches all parts of campus and we don't really heavily concentrate on just certain people. But yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and have you do your concluding statement.
All right, thank you guys so much for having me today. I'm really excited to apply again this year. I think, just to reiterate, last year was, you know, gaining the ropes of everything, but I'm excited to have, you know, form my own opinions and say my beliefs or whatever in the group, and just ensuring that we do reach everyone on campus, because I know I've talked to a lot of people and they don't really know what I do on USAC or what I do in the finance committee. And so I think just it's something like I'm really like glad to be a part of, and I want everyone on campus to know like what we do and why we do it. But yeah.
Okay, well now let's hear from ARC and their decision.
ARC voted Sharon with a 3-0 vote, and our statement reads: Sharon is a highly qualified candidate for this position, being her second year on the finance committee. She knows this position very well, knows the avenues for improvement in financial transparency and accessibility for the committee. She's very open to communicating with student organizations and collaborating with new student organizations. With this said, ARC would like to recommend her with a 3-0 vote.
Thank you. All right. Brief deliberation.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, appreciate it. Brief deliberation period between council members. Any comments, concerns that anybody wants to raise before we vote? Awesome. Can I have a motion?
I move to approve, shooting for the finance committee associate position for a year.
Second.
Sarah motion, Megan second, all in favor, please raise your hand. All right, please lower your hands. All against, please raise your hands. All abstain, please raise your hands. All right, with 10 to 0 vote, your appointment is approved. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys. Have a great night. Bye.
Okay, so now let's move forward. I know most of the time we're recording so cool. Just wanted to say that my main thing over the past kind of couple weeks has been on the Chancellor Search Committee. Grant spent about 20 hours total last week in interviews with, well, not interviews, but kind of like campus day interviews, hearing from faculty, staff, and students, what they would like to see in the next chancellor at UCLA. It's also kind of a critical time since Berkeley's looking for a new chancellor, Stanford's looking for a new president, Notre Dame's looking for a new president as well. So a lot of people are searching for the next person to kind of take control of the school in their campus. So as the only undergraduate on the search committee, I've definitely been taking in a lot of feedback. And if council members have anything they would like to add, please let me know and send me an email or chat with me sometime. Besides that, platform-wise, we've been working on our community director has been attending different club meetings in order to inform clubs about what is USAC and what kind of offers we have for support to students. That's been going really well. Definitely just trying to get our name out there. That's our goal at the end of the day. And yeah, we've been doing some other things that can be found on our report. Pass it off to Megan.
The Appointments Review Committee has conducted no interviews. So please, if you have received a reminder from me or Josh, please get those appointments done. I really want to get them done. Josh attended a meeting with Karen Monero and GSA to plan the True Bruins Race ceremony, which is going to be in Kirkhoff Grand Salon once again. Me and Josh met with End Overdose and SWC to discuss initiatives to involve to increase Narcan training and potentially requiring it for some organizations on campus. Again, held my executive and all staff meeting on Monday. If you would like to come, please reach out to me. I have a bunch of committee updates on my ops report, but I'll only read out some of the bigger ones. We're currently planning for the off-campus housing fair for week 3 of Monday, the winter quarter. So we'll be applying for contingency, and we're reaching out to student media to create like ad packages. My institutionalized events committee just finished a meeting with the AACSA for the AACSA teacher contest. We voted on between like 97 different designs. So final voting will be open on November 27th. We're currently working on a final seat dressing event. So if anyone wants to reach out to work on that, please let me know. We just typically do like a little freebie day. This Friday, my pre-professional supports committee is hosting a workshop for like resume building, interview, things like that, from 4 to 6 p.m. in Cobalt Commons. So please encourage your offices to come and share it on social media. I would like to remind council members that there is an ASC entities meet and greet event this Thursday at 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. in the Kirkhoff Art Gallery. ACSA Bod Communications Board and GSA will be there. So please come, and I will be sending you a proxy.
Thank you. Gabby, did you have anything?
Oh, it's all right.
Thank you. Okay, Jonathan?
I have a couple things.
Can you guys see the mic?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just a couple of things happening in the office so far. So our internship program has gone off pretty well. I'm very happy and very excited with the work that the office has been able to do with regards to that, and just helping USAC become more transparent. I presented the resolution last week. I know some of us weren't present, but it's available, it's there. And yeah, I answered a lot of questions that we had, and I'm very excited that we get to vote on it and we get to pass it. And I met with the Hispanic support Hispanic Institute, HSI. I met with the director, Elizabeth Gonzalez, and the student workers there as well. We kind of discussed the next steps and the future plans for the Latinx Success Center. I'm very excited to announce that most likely it will be happening. according to what HSI told me. So I'm very excited for the work that's going to be done there. In terms of platforms, my office has been working very hard, very digitally on events and so forth, that you all can see in our officer reports. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. So you don't have anything out loud?
Yes, actually, just because my written updates aren't really complete at the moment, but internally in the office, definitely a lot of things have been happening. The internship program has been going well. They were actually able to tour the career center yesterday, which is something I didn't even know that the intern directors were like doing, which I thought was really cool. And with the extra like money for programming that I mentioned, I've been having my directors submit budget proposals so that they can like advocate for the money to be used in a certain way. And I've got a lot of cool ideas from that. For example, my accountability and transparency team came up with the idea to kind of make one of those like TikTok challenges where you interview people. You offer them like $1, $2 to answer a question. And their idea was to ask them questions about like how much they know about USAC and how much they know about like certain initiatives. So I thought that was really cool. And besides that, like ongoing initiatives have like everything is still being worked on, including incomplete notations, which we're still on track to have on the academic senate agenda by December 1st. As well as work on 195 CE internships, thanks to Eva and Jiaying, and also work on academic senate initiatives on undergraduate council and student and postdoctoral scholar wellness committee. And I think those are the main things. Besides that, I have some meetings scheduled in like coming weeks to make progress on the little library initiative, which I'm really excited about, as well as the shadowing program that I mentioned last week with grad schools. We're meeting with the dean of Anderson tomorrow, and we're also meeting with the Career Center to make progress on the law school shadowing program. So those are some of the highlights.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, now let's pass it off to Mason. Okay,
No updates.
Then we'll move to Evan. Okay, we'll go to Sarah. Oh, you guys might.
For updates, there are not many. We're planning an event with, I think, our entrepreneurs, just to do more outreach and sort of talk about what USAC does financially. We are also planning an event with ASUCLA, and also hopefully want to do a USAC collaboration with Red Light for Winter Quarter. If anyone wants to, what we did last year, sort of, I want to try to emulate that in winter. So if anyone wants to be a part of that, please let me know, and I'll send like finalized dates out soon. I think that was it. I also just wanted to, I think, draw attention to the increased amount of anti-Semitism that I've experienced, and members of the Jewish community have experienced on campus, and just make sure everyone on council is aware that, like, despite, I think, the normalization of anti-Semitism that I have faced, that members of my community have faced, that it's still not okay, and then that we should be working to represent all students on campus, as well as Islamophobia, xenophobia towards Palestinian Muslim students. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, now moving to Jenna. Anything you want to say about? Oh, like that. Yeah, yeah.
I have written updates, but sorry, I'm sick. My voice is sounding funky. The most important thing is that one of our committees, Active Minds, is hosting a DBT, which is a form of therapy, like the more commonly known like CBT. They're having a workshop at CAPS this Thursday at 6:30, and there's free Chipotle. So go out to that and learn some super important mental health skills. And the rest is written. Thank you.
Thank you, and hope you feel better soon. Next we'll be moving to Tara.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I don't really have much update, so I do, but I'm just tired. The main thing that I want to share with y'all is that the TSR office is about to start our internship, which essentially is going to pair each of y'all with a transfer student who is interested in either serving in that office or serving in that role that y'all currently serve in. So look out for that. I'll be sending out matches later this quarter. The main thing that they're going to be doing with y'all is ensuring that whatever office that you're in is producing a transfer oriented event or initiative. So really excited for that, and I hope that y'all will be engaging with these transfer students as you would engage with anybody else in your office. And this is a opportunity for the Transfer Unity Council proposal that I brought to council to come into fruition. So that will be happening later this quarter. Also, I see that Lori is here. Thank you so much, Lori, for the idea for the football tickets. That was really successful. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Now we're moving to Adam.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, just some quick updates. Me and Jonathan met. We're gonna continue working on Bruin Buddies. Hopefully, we can expand that slightly. Working with the Career Center on a potential event for international students. Last week, I emceed Bruins Around the World. It was a very good event. We had a lot of fun performances. I attended a couple of Dasher Center events this past week as part of International Education Week. And my office is still taking staff applications. We're doing interviews and still taking people on. Thank you.
Thank you. She, I just realized that I did not ask you about the same thing out loud.
It's so good. Hi,
Just cut me off.
hello. Okay, so I only have like one big one and the rest are written. So our external programs team, you're organizing an event concerning houselessness in Windsor Quarter. So because the issue concerns housing insecurity and a lot of like UCLA service organizations are focused on that. So they are hosting a focus group or an open discussion to kind of get input on what the event should look like this year. So I've attached the link in my report. If any of you are in an organization or have ties to an organization working on housing insecurity and would like to provide your input, please share the link around. Thank you.
Thank you. Eva. Hey.
Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I finally have a written report, so please clap for me. No, I know. I know that's what we were all really waiting for this Tuesday. But so, couple quick things. The reason I was late is because EVP had a couple events going on right now. As I mentioned last week. First we had a Your Rights event. So, it was really, really amazing. A bunch of turnout, discussing like what our rights are as student workers. So for any subsequent events, like please go check that out. And then our Bruins Vote team just had a democracy workshop where they're talking about how to have like really awkward Thanksgiving conversations with your weird uncle. So super timely and it went great. So I guess just for future reference, like I would love if more council support could attend those events just because like I think EVP is kind of slang and would be nice to have some more like USAC participation. I'll be sending out emails from now on about like our office-wide events, so just please check those out. Another email you'll be receiving from me about another event later this week is the UC Student Association is having their Students of Color conference. That is going to be taking place in January. We are accepting applications through I think December 8th. And the link to apply and all the information is on our Instagram. So please go there and check that out. I heard from a lot of attendees last year that they just had like an amazing time. And so like, it's just a really cool chance for you to go to something like that. If you are a student of color, highly encouraged.
So please check that out. And lastly, our Ted Lieu event was confirmed for December 8th. We went through so much hassle to get a room booked, so we finally have a room booked. But so just please keep that on your radar for December 8th. There's like limited ability to have like attendance, so like please show up early, please register or you can't get in. And please submit questions that you want the congressman to answer. Last but not least, I believe our Assembly member Rick Chavez-Burr is going to the Northwestwood Neighborhood Council on December 6th. So if you have questions for like our state rep, please go to that as well. And please continue to check out EVP's events. Thank you.
Also fill out the ones me that you sent, please.
Oh, yes. When I say I'm like quintuple booked right now, the Regents meeting is tomorrow, and we'll be giving public comment for that. And our student region is there, and currently it's CPK if this ends early, so I low-key have to go to that because they're having dinner. And yeah, I think it'd be really great for us to meet with him. So please fill out the when to meet. I want to send that out the next couple days just because Thanksgiving is coming up. Thank you.
Thank you.
I sent it to Megan.
Okay.
I promise it exists.
Or does it?
Your email?
Okay. Slack is better for me.
I'll Slack it. All right, sorry everyone about that. Thank you.
You're good. All right, now moving to our admin representatives. Orlando.
Hello, everyone. No, just a quick, actually a clarification. So there are a couple of offices that did not re-register this academic year, even though I came into every meeting reminding you all to re-register. I will not mention those groups, but every time I mention like an RCO requirement, it applies to everyone here, including attending the one workshop for your re-registration. So if you need a link for that, make sure you email me. If you don't have it, you have till December 8th to send one of your signatories or yourselves to attend to be honest with you, a less than 20-minute online workshop you can watch 24/7. If you have any questions on that, just let me know either on the re-registration part of it or on the workshop. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay, now I'm gonna quiz y'all. December what? We have till December 8th. Okay.
Husband's had this week.
So you can do the 24 hours, 24/7 accessible one that you don't even have to get the quiz right. You can get it all. Oh. So I highly recommend that one if you can't go to an in-person one. But yeah, okay, thank you. Moving on. We have, sorry, I blinked on his last name. It was Jessica.
Hello. So I'm sure you all are already on top of it, but I am going to mention it. You have some outstanding appointments that are pretty urgent to fill as soon as possible. You have 3 COM board appointments that are open. One of them is a transfer seat. That's pretty critical, just given that there is a discussion item on the agenda talking about Daily Bruin. COM board oversees Daily Bruin. So, if there are issues or concerns there, that is how you get your representation to address that. Additionally, election board is going to be very critical and urgent to appoint ASAP. So if you don't have any applicants, if the search committee needs additional support in publicizing, please let me know. We can get our marketing team to help post that on our Instagram and other platforms, just to get the engagement and get people applying. Just given, how long it typically takes to go over election code and set the calendar and all of that, it takes a while. I know there's a lot of edits and amendments that you all are concerned about happening this year. So just to keep that in mind, if you want to be on time with all of that stuff, we're already approaching the end of the quarter, winter's going to go fast, and then you're in election season. So please make sure to prioritize that one as well. And certainly, obviously, any other funding body chairs that you have vacant, those should be a very urgent priority to appoint as well. So any way we can help support that, please let us know.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah.
I'm imagining in my head you know how ACCLA does a giveaway. So having people repost the post that we make, collab posts with ACCLA. If a student reposts it on their story, they're entered into a drawing or something. Can we
Yes.
talk about that?
We can definitely talk about that. We can figure something out and make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then, really quickly, I also just wanted to, shout out our team, specifically Emily, for putting together, the amazing resources guide that she emailed out to all council. We are planning to like get those laminated and, in like a more, long-term sustainable format so that they can get posted inside each office space in Kirkuk. So just wanted to appreciate her efforts in getting that together pretty quickly and turning that around. And then, you know, we have other things that we're working on as well coming through, so.
Thank you. Okay, going to Lori. Oh. Eva?
I also just wanted to, like, on the topic of the E4, I just wanted to remind everyone that like earlier in summer, we had an agenda item topic where we like shared, like potential revisions that we'd want. So just wanted to flag that for everyone again. I think it would be worth revisiting. I'm happy to send that in Slack.
Okay. And then Tara, sorry, I didn't see your hand.
So just to clarify, there's currently no appointments made to the comm board and there needs to be a transfer appointment.
There's a transfer appointment that's available. One available for transfer, then two available for undergraduate. Well, general undergraduate.
For a total of 5, she said.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm just repeating what Jessica said because she didn't have a mic. So there's 5 seats total. 2 currently are filled. 1 transfer appointment needs to be made, and then 2 other appointments need to be made by me. Okay.
Can someone send me the contact information of the 2 people who are on the board already?
The transfer position that was on there, I believe it was Ida, graduated. So that was the one that was gonna be on there, but yeah.
Oh, I meant the 2 people who are already appointed that y'all are talking about.
Okay. Got it. Jessica's gonna follow up with you. Thank you. Move to Lori.
Only reservations for winter quarter for rec open on the 28th, so if you don't have an account and you need space, you better get one. And also Jessica was the only one that visited me at Tunnel 11 on Saturday, so super sad. And then I will not have another football game at the Coalition, but I will be at the USC game if you're there. Bye.
Now moving to Jonathan, thank you.
Hey, hello. It's Tuesday. I don't know why I said that. You all know that. Hi. Just a couple things from me, quick and short. The lottery for 417 for winter will be early next week via Zoom. You all will receive an email tomorrow from Event Services with sign-up instructions. And they will also be conducting the regular room lottery during weeks 9 and 10 via Zoom. And for drop-in for all of our other meeting room spaces. Only USAC offices can sign up for 417 meetings during regular lottery, and they'll send them to your USAC emails. If you have any questions about that, stop by Event Services. Yeah. Oh, anything?
Last quarter, like I just didn't get an email about that. So, and I don't know what happened there, but I would love if you could check that out. Because I had to like find out like subsequently, like weeks later, that like it was open and like, I don't know, if you could just verify that the emails are correct, that would be great. Because I believe the person who helped me get 417 also mentioned like an issue about it.
Yeah. If you don't get an email tomorrow, just send me a Slack.
Thank you.
And then, I'm sorry, I have one more thing. And I
will be out of office. I know, shocker. I've been here for long enough to take vacation time. I know, right? So starting on Tuesday, I will not be at your next meeting. And then I will come back the following Tuesday. So I will be here on Monday next week, and that's it, essentially. So should you need anything from me, this week is the time to do it. I will not be reachable out of office. Jessica will be here the whole time though. Fernando might be out a little bit also. So and I think I said this last week, but once Thanksgiving hits, this quarter is over effectively. It's week 7. It's going to go by so quickly. So should you need to finish anything before the end of the calendar year, let's talk about it sooner rather than later. Okay, have a good week.
Thanks. Have a safe trip.
Thank you. I'm going to Mexico.
Actually. Let's go to old business, which was resolution calling for the creation of a Latinx Success Center at UCLA. Jonathan. Let's pass you by.
Yeah, so I presented it last week and I just wanted to open the floor if there are any questions about the resolution that I can address as well that I wasn't able to address last week. Again, I'm very excited for this resolution. As I previously discussed in my updates, I had the opportunity to meet with the Hispanic Service Institution Initiative. They're very excited for the resolution. They feel that it's going to help really just push for the center. And I don't want to sound like a broken record. I reiterated the importance of this, especially considering that the Latinx population in Los Angeles County, Los Angeles City, and California are the majority. So this is a center that's long overdue and needs to be implemented. I made my case last week. And we just, a couple updates were made. Like, for example, we included the new information for mentioning that the Latinx population on campus is actually 23.1%. So we're very close to that 25% needed for HSI designation. And yeah, we just provided further information, further links. I want to personally thank my Bruin Resources Director, Kristen, as well as my Policy Director, Crystal, who both worked very, very hard on cleaning it up and making sure that the language is proper. And yeah, I'm very excited. So is there any questions, thoughts, concerns?
Yeah.
Hi, yeah, I'm very in favor of this resolution. My office is very excited about it. However, I would like to ask if we can possibly table it for today because there is a conversation that I would like to have with one council member, specifically because I fear that some students might not be included in the Latinx Resource Center. So I'm hoping to have that conversation and I would feel more comfortable voting on this after that conversation.
Yeah, to address the general representative's comments, this resolution was presented last. There was time to do it, time to ask concerns and ask questions, and I think frankly the Latinx student resource is an overdue resource. It's a resource needed for a very large population. And, our action speaks for it. And we are looked at as a student government on this campus. I don't want to table it any further. I think the support is there. I think the community, the Latinx community stands behind this with my conversation. And yeah, so I actually do not want to table it. I think it needs to go already.
I see a couple hands. We're gonna go to Shady, Eva, it's John.
Yes, if you don't mind sharing, Gabby, could you maybe elaborate a little bit about your concern, regarding about the representation and just so that the rest of us have a little bit more context.
Gabby?
Other people raise their hands, so can I respond quickly? Well, my only concern was that I had a conversation about Jewish students from like the Latinx community, and if they would be included in the resource center, and I just haven't really received an adequate response yet. So as a Jewish student, I just don't feel comfortable signing on to this yet. I do really believe in it. I think it's important to have at UCLA, but again, I just think that's a conversation that needs to be had before I sign on to something like this.
I'd like to echo what Jonathan said. I think a resolution like this is actually very timely. Jonathan, I don't know if this is in your plans or anything, but because the Regents meeting is tomorrow and Thursday, I think this is something, if we pass this today, it means that folks can sign up for public comment before 5 p.m. tomorrow and give public comment to the Regents on Thursday at 8:30 in the morning. And so I think like, I don't know if you have any Regents plan advocacy for like the Latinx Resource Center. That's a conversation that HSI wants to have on that level, but I do think this is very timely and we did talk about it last week. So I'm very in full support of having this resolution be read or passed today. And the second thing is, I just took a quick run through of the resolution. I'm curious as to like what, I guess, why like Latinx Jewish students wouldn't be included in the resource center. So I guess like I'd also like some discussion about, or just for I guess clarification for why that might be the case. That's all I'd say.
Did you want to respond to that real quick before the?
To be completely honest, I'm all for transparency, but I honestly think that is a conversation that needs to be held in private between me and another council member. So that's the only reason I really wanted to table it. I just wanted clarification on that specific question. It's really like a yes or no question. So I don't know how I'm supposed to have that conversation before the end of this meeting, but again, I am favoring this resolution. I just really want clarification onto that one specific comment or question that I had.
Jonathan?
I would just like to say that I'm the council member that Gabrielle needs a conversation with. And I would like to mention, since this needs to be discussed publicly, I'm going to give you the response I sent you. I'm not going to address your question because I find it disrespectful that you even think that anyone would not be welcome in the student center, regardless of their faith, regardless of their ideals. I ultimately hope you find it within yourself to reflect further about your choice on whether you support the resolution or not. So at the end of the day, that is a choice that you take. That being said, I, for the life of me, could not even see any student being rejected from the center. This is a Latinx resource center, a center for all Latinx students. Again, a marginalized community that has not been represented for years, ever since this institution was founded. So, yeah, making that clear.
Sarah, then to Gabby.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to sort of second Gabby's concerns and offer in defense of Gabby. I don't think she's trying to, Jonathan, I don't think she's trying to take anything away from the center. And like, I think, and I've talked to her about this before, her and her office are very supportive. I think it's just, she's trying to represent her community and making sure that Latino Jews are included in this space, specifically because currently on campus there are concerns of Jewish students not being included in spaces because of religious affiliation. Yeah, the equation of Judaism with Zionism, which is like a whole different conversation, but I think Gabby is just doing her due diligence, and I support her in that. And, yeah.
Can I respond to that? Do you want to?
I do.
Can we do that and then?
Yeah, and Sarah, I absolutely respect that. And Gabby, I respect that and I appreciate that. That being said, I'm doing the same for my community. I am here myself. There's only 2 council members here representing 23% of the student population. That is myself and Alicia. our community for over the 100 years that this university has stood, this university has been here, has been poorly represented. And I don't think that there is any delay or any reason why. Obviously, this center isn't going to happen in one day, and your concerns are very valid, and there are representatives that can be discussed with. There are administrators that those conversations can be held up with, and lengthy conversations to ensure that any Latino, Latinx, Latina identifying person feels adequately represented. I think more than anything, the center is even more important now, just because this was a different story I wanted to share. The first non-binary representative in Latin America was murdered yesterday. Latina people, queer Latina people as well, are at marginalized risks, not only in our respective homeland, but also in the United States. We may think we have it better, but we don't. So I think it is more important than ever to stand in solidarity with the Latina community by all means necessary. And if it means passing this resolution, I think it's passing this resolution.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go with Gabby, then go to Tyra. Sorry if I missed your hand earlier, Tyra.
Okay, yeah, to clarify, I just want to say that I 100% agree with you, and we had a conversation behind closed doors, and I think honestly, like, there was a miscommunication, and I just wanted clarification for that, because as Sarah mentioned, I do have my community to represent, just as you have your community. And I think that you honestly gave me the answer I was looking for when you expressed that all students are going to be included, and honestly, I just really needed to hear that before signing on to that, so thank you for saying that. And I'm happy we were able to have this conversation before the resolution.
Then we're going to Tyra.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that the resolution came, because I was gonna say, I do not think that it is our job to stop the progression of ethnic-based centers because of religious affiliation. I'd be mad as hell if I came here and asked y'all for support of a Black Resource Center, and y'all were saying that y'all didn't feel like a certain religious affiliation wasn't going to be welcome there, because as Jonathan had mentioned, that's not in the resolution. I could very much have been like, well, Jonathan, I'm a Christian, so like, how are y'all going to support Christian Latinx students? But that's not what he's asking for right here. And I think, Gabby, I would just wanted to know, have you ever heard from any Latina Jewish students who have expressed concerns with the resolution, or is this something that you had thought about as you were reading it?
Direct question, Gabby.
Yeah, first of all, Judaism, just to clarify, is a multi-ethno-religious group. So it is not just a faith or religion. So just to clarify that on record. Second, I actually have received many concerns about the resolution, specifically because anti-Semitism on campus has increased in recent weeks. So a lot of students don't feel safe on campus, they don't feel included, and so I felt that it was my responsibility to ensure that they do. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Just want to emphasize that this resolution is supposed to be representative of the entire Latina community. So if there's a center for these students, that would obviously represent everybody under that umbrella, whatever identities they hold outside of that. If there's somebody from that specific community having issue with the resolution, I think that's a little bit different, because they are the people who are going to be utilizing this center. But I don't think it's our space to be saying that we don't want to sign on to spaces when we're not going to be using those centers. As Jonathan mentioned, Black and brown students on campus, we feel jeopardized all the time. Like, anti-Blackness is one of the most persistent things at UCLA, but nobody ever talks about that. Nobody ever wants to discuss it because of the state of racism at UCLA. So I do think that pushing this resolution aside for what's going on currently is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. So anyways, Jonathan, you have my support in the resolution. I hope that we could make our effort.
I think we should just go ahead and vote on this. So can I have a motion?
Naomi, please don't cut me off.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and have this to a motion.
Support of the
As the chair of this meeting, let's go ahead and have a motion if we want to vote. Jonathan.
I motion for the resolution in support of the establishment of the Latinx Resource Center.
I think.
Second.
Jonathan, motion. All the way, please raise your hand. You have three. That hand?
Yeah.
8, 9, 11, 12. Please lower your hands. All against, please raise your hands. All abstaining, please raise your hands. With a vote of 12-0, that is approved. Thank you. Now we are going into new business. Okay, go ahead. Okay, yeah, we'll go here.
I was like, forgot the schedule was big, but I don't know. Sorry, I'm not sure if the student body knew that it was going to be rescheduled. So I was wondering if we could reopen public comment because I know people came for 7. Just to ask.
Yeah, unfortunately, the agenda was posted to my knowledge on time correctly, right? Just making sure before I make that statement. It was posted on time with the time of 6 p.m. as discussed in our last meeting, which was on USAC Live, which acknowledged that change, so I will not be reopening public comment.
Would it be fair, like, for me to motion and even if it doesn't pass, like? Okay. I move to reopen public comment at 9:07 p.m. Does anyone?
Anybody second?
Second, Suja.
Okay, Alicia motions, Suja seconds, all fair, raise your hand. All right, please raise your hands. Oh, 10. All against, please raise your hands. All abstaining, please raise your hands. All right, we'll vote of 10-0. Thank you. So on the other policy. So vote 10-0, that is passed. So given that public comment beforehand was open for about 6-7 minutes, that means there's a remaining total of 23 minutes for public comment. Ryan, is it okay if we lower your hands on Zoom? Okay, so with 23 minutes of public comment remaining, just remember our community guidelines really quickly. Challenge ideas, not individuals. Remember to use gender inclusive and respectful language. Freedom of speech is valuing freedom from accountability. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes and the opportunity to speak once. Remember, we do have 23 minutes remaining, so make sure to kind of budget that time amongst yourselves. No dehumanizing language. And with that, we're going to go ahead and reopen public comment. Please raise your hands and we'll go ahead and call. And make sure to remember to introduce yourself for our minute speaker, please, with your name and.
Sorry, I'm having my second to read. Hi, my name is Aisha. I'm the External Vice President for the Muslim Student Association on campus. And I am just here to ask about what USAC is doing about the safety of both Jewish and Muslim students on campus. The MSA has had to come up with its own kind of ideas on how we can have our own visibly Muslim or Arab-looking students safe and protected going between their apartments and coming in class. This should not be the case. Like, we have been mobilizing since last year to get our members more active about campus affairs, and that includes encouraging and teaching everyone how to vote for USAC officials, how to choose who to vote for. We looked at all of your campaigns and we elected you guys. We are not seeing your support though. There's a campus safety alliance. Some specific members of this council ran on the idea that you focus on the safety and well-being of all your students. We have had meetings with admin where we have had no productivity at all regarding our safety on campus. The rhetoric against Muslim students right now, regardless of what their personal beliefs are in political situations, is that they tend to be people who are terrorists or violent or barbaric, and this is threatening to the extent that some of our families ask us if it's safe to come to class because it reminds them of the time post 9/11. The tokenization of Muslims and the Muslim experience on campus right now is dangerous, and I know many people personally, and we have collected formal testimony of people who have been stopped on their way to class, who've had their personal vehicles and cars harassed or attacked physically, and who've been called things like violent or terrorist. and people coming onto campus with signs saying Islam, Hamas, death. This is not okay. We should not be having to go to admin, come up with our own ideas as students who are just here to support each other and have a good time and eat some halal food together, and have to meet with people at all levels of administration to come up with how they're going to keep us safe, because the current ways that they're offering us aren't actually taking account of the situation. Obviously, we condemn any kind of religious prejudice, and we don't want anything bad to happen to any of our students. But we elected you guys for a reason, and we're not seeing any support from the people who have the resources and the power and are getting paid to be in this position and do this job. So we just want to know what USAC is going to do for us. Thank you.
That's a public comment.
Hi, my name is Angelica. I didn't prepare what I was going to say for today, but all I wanted to say is to express my support for the Muslim community and anyone who has experienced hate crime. I think it's ridiculous that, you are our governing body, and it's kind of not reassuring knowing that the people we elected are not really doing anything to protect students. And I would like for you guys to pay attention and not speak while I'm speaking and while other students are speaking or looking at your phones, please. We want your undivided attention. Just out of respect, sorry, but yeah, it's people don't know that, so. Yeah, I just really want to express the support for everyone here and everyone who has been affected by Islamophobia and just racist, brutal attacks from students, outside people who are coming into UC and attacking students, and the UC deliberately failing to protect its students. And it would be nice for, USAC to recognize that and to support the student body and faculty and workers. Just recently someone was fired because she was pro-Palestinian. So what are you guys gonna do to protect these students? What are you doing? I want you guys to really think about this. It's ridiculous that, we even had to come in here to advocate for ourselves to come into public comments. And yeah, I just want to express my solidarity with everyone here and for y'all to address their needs and concerns and to really pay attention and to stop talking while I'm speaking and while others are speaking up here. I want you guys to give them your undivided attention. That's it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyways, hello, my name is Sial. I'm the programming director for the Muslim Student Association this year. And I also wanted to echo what my external vice president said. Mainly for the fact that we've had to make meetings with UCLA admin and staff for the sake of our security on campus just because of how threatened it's been. I also just wanted to emphasize and actually make a request directly to USAC President Naomi, because I remember last time you mentioned that you would not be able to make a statement on Palestine. This time I asked if you're going to say anything while our Muslim students are being literally hate crimed on campus. Thank you.
Public comment.
Hello, my name is Mateen. I'd like to first apologize. I didn't write anything, so this might be a little sloppy, but I did want to acknowledge that there is no nuance to the nature of these hate crimes and harassment against students. We talk about how, the chancellor has these statements that are so not even jaded about his support and where he stands because he's so willing to condemn organizations on false, baseless claims, yet not address and hold organizations that aren't even student run accountable for harassing and assaulting students that are Muslim, that are pro-Palestinian. And I'd like to address how wearing a kufiya is a risk nowadays because you walk around and you really get pepper sprayed like my friend was. You get beat up and jumped by multiple people like my friends were. And all of a sudden, you realize that no one wants to wear these anymore because they're afraid of their safety, of their sanctity on campus. They got pepper sprayed over by the sculpture garden, where people just, chillax throughout the day, have a good time, right? Read a book. But once night falls and you're alone and you're wearing a kufiya, you have to worry for your safety. They have to wash their eyes with a sprinkler system, right? Why should the student have to worry about that on campus? On campus. And we're talking about condemning the organization supporting Palestinians. On campus, we're getting assaulted, beat up. On the Hill, my friend was beat up. And we have to fight the small fights of talking about, whether the statements that we were made and the videos that were recorded online are the full extent of the misinformation is fully revealed. We have to fight over that stuff. When we can't even get protection for the students on campus, the Muslim students, the Palestinian students, we can't even get any protection for that. And then we're talking about condemnation. Condemnation. We need accountability and we need support for the students on campus. What is condemnation?
Hello, I'm a Palestinian student and a Muslim student. And last week I endured a hate crime on campus. I was selling my kufiyas. I was selling my kufiyas on Bruin Walk when an older white lady, well into her 60s or even 70s, shoved me from behind and knocked me off my feet. She gave me whiplash. Like, you know how you get into a car accident and your head just rocks forward and back? Yeah. I do not feel safe on campus. We do not feel safe on campus because there is a lack of accountability held for these Zionists, these people who are attacking Palestinian students, Palestinian ally students. Every day I come to campus wearing my kufiya, I'm paranoid that any one of them could come and attack me on the spot, could call out terrorists to me. And it's happened. It's happened to so many of our students, and there has been no accountability being taken place. There's no accountability on all of you in putting out a statement and advocating for your students because we appointed you, like my comments have said, we appointed you and we have not received any support from you. So do we matter less than your other students? Is because that's the image that you're giving us right now, is that our voices don't matter, that we don't exist on campus, but we do. And we are here, and we're not going to stop fighting for the liberation of Palestine and for the Palestinian students here. Thank you.
So we'll kind of rotate back to Zoom for a second. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rachel Burnett. I'm a Jewish student at UCLA, and I wanted to first express my deepest condolences for any student who's experienced hate, made to feel unwelcome. I think USAC, like all governing bodies, whether they're students or faculty or the chancellor, have a responsibility to make sure students feel safe on campus. I know that Jewish students feel unsafe on campus. I know that Muslim students, I know that Palestinian students feel unsafe on campus. I think personally the best solution here would be to have two separate resolutions one condemning anti-Semitism and one condemning Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian racism. Although I believe that our liberation, whether that's Jewish liberation, Muslim liberation, all forms of liberation are of course connected. At the same time, I believe that each community deserves to recognize their own unique form of oppression without having to share that spotlight. Jewish students deserve their own place to express their grievances, much like Muslim students. Arab students deserve their own space specifically to address their unique grievances. And so I wanted to point out that we shouldn't be trying to frame this as Jewish students versus Muslim students, as Israeli students versus Palestinian students. We have our unique struggles, we have our different struggles. The power dynamic in the geopolitical conflict may not be the same, but ultimately, when it comes to student safety, it's not opposing causes, it's causes that are inextricably linked. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our next Zoom. Comments. And then go ahead whenever you're ready. Diraj? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Okay, let's go ahead and move to our next one. Imran?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. One second. Okay. My name's Imran. I am a Muslim student at UCLA, and I just can't believe that we're here again because you guys have not done a single shit about the Islamophobia on our campus. Muslim students are constantly under threat, and all we've gotten from you guys is just silence and empty seats at the table where decisions are supposed to be made. This isn't even about hurt feelings. It's actually about danger. It's about the fact that every single day, Muslim students walk through campus wondering where the next verbal or physical attack will come from. And where has that left us? On our own, fending for ourselves because the student government has shown zero initiative, zero guts, and zero commitment. What is it going to take for you guys to wake up and realize that your passivity is as good as telling those hate mongers and Zionists that they've got a free pass to just attack us and verbally assault us? If you can't give a damn about the lives you're here to protect, then frankly, you don't deserve to call yourselves our representatives. We're not here to beg. We're here to demand action, real action, not just a nod of agreement or quote unquote. We'll look into it. We're past that. We want a concrete plan, and we wanted it. We wanted it a few weeks ago when we showed up the last USAC meeting. Education, protection, a clear message that Islamophobia won't be tolerated. We want that now. And if you can't step up and just do your job, the bare minimum to just protect us, protect all students, protect specifically Muslim, Arab, and Palestinian students, then make room for students who are actually willing to fight for us. Because we're done waiting. It's time to act. And if you're not with us, if you're not willing to cooperate with us, and if you're not willing to protect us, then you're against us, and you don't deserve to be on the student government. That's all I have to say.
We'll go back. And then versus vote? Yeah. Well, oh, sorry. Oh.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hassan, and I am the Muslim Student Association's president. I just wanted to speak about my own personal experience to start off. Over the last few weeks, I've been the recipient of an immense amount of accounts of harassment from my own peers. There's one day that I can remember where I was approached by 5 different individuals in my community, each sharing their own accounts from that day of harassment for wearing the hijab. I haven't been able to function as a student. My board members, my fellow community leaders have not been able to function as students because we've been bearing the weight of keeping our own community safe on campus, which shouldn't be our responsibility. It's our right to come to a public institution and feel safe. But that's not being done by the administration. It's not being done by the student government. So the burden is falling on us. And I also want to speak about, I'm sure many of you have seen the faculty letter that was released recently. This past Sunday, over 300 faculty members signed on to a letter that was directed at the UCLA admin. This letter claimed to raise concerns about the campus climate. However, the language inside that letter, if you take a brief look below the surface, it's disgusting and it breeds hate, and it plays on so many Islamophobic tropes. This letter is harmful not only to Muslim students, but to Arab students, South Asian students,
students of BIPOC heritage, and any student who has spoken up for Palestine. I noticed that you introduced this segment of community or public address.
I'm sorry, it's a 2-minute mark.
Can I have a minute to finish?
Unfortunately, no. That's the rules of public comment now. So we have to move to the next person. Sorry. You can only speak once, so technically you can't give up the time. I'm sorry. So if you have a statement to be read, you can have it read by somebody else.
I noticed that you introduced this segment by asking us to refrain from dehumanizing language. This letter likens members of our community to terrorist sympathizers. It calls all the protests as of late celebrations of the Hamas massacre. Is this humanizing language? They are calling my community, our community, barbaric and violent. Our community has time and time again stood with other communities in times of need. We reject any attempt to pit us against any other groups. We will never stand for hate, so stop playing on these Orientalist stereotypes, stop playing into this rhetoric, this harmful rhetoric. The faculty has released this statement as a method of intimidation, as a way to throw around their clout on campus. They call an admin to crack down on student organizations and individuals alike. USAC, as a student organization, has a responsibility to repudiate any offensive statement that was put out. I would also like to see the USAC body make some efforts to defend the student body who is put at risk when such obscene mischaracterizations have been put out. And if I can add on, I have time. When I first started thinking about putting on hijab, my dad told me not to, because he said this is exactly what would happen. You put this on, you put yourself out there as someone who is visibly Muslim, as someone who visibly falls into this harmful rhetoric. The thing is, it's true. This is not a Jewish versus Muslim issue. This is not a us versus them issue. But at the end of the day, some of us are visibly at risk. We're more at risk than other students. And we haven't seen anyone stand up for us. We haven't seen any support from anyone. Take away accountability. I'm asking for acknowledgement. We had a teach-in on campus October 11th. People came up to these students that were trying to get educated at a higher education institution. People got attacked on campus. Literally like 3 buildings down. No one said anything. No one acknowledged anything. I didn't see an email. Y'all say emails don't do anything. But the second that we have a rally, everyone's really quick to type up those emails. Really quick to condemn us. And it's crazy. How long do we have to sit here, stand, yell, cry, get hurt, get assaulted? How many times before someone stands up, before someone sees our struggle, before someone does something? We elected y'all. Some of you guys ran on platforms where you said that you would hold UCPD, safety, accountability, everything, but y'all haven't done shit. Hello, my name is Noor and I'm speaking on behalf of the Muslim student population at UCLA. We've been subject to harassment, discrimination, and aggression on the basis of our religion and our physical attributes. Students have been harassed and many of us no longer feel safe on campus, walking alone, especially at night. And with good reason. The UCLA administration has done nothing to make us feel secure or safe. There are numerous reports of such incidents as have been spoken about. And direct hate crimes such as being followed at night, property destruction, and even physical altercations. Not only have you failed to acknowledge this, but you've created an environment where students feel afraid to ask for help. You've chosen to ignore our pleas, and you're failing to protect your students. So much so that we've had to take matters into our own hands and document all of these accounts. But there's only so much that we can do as students. There's only so much we can accomplish when the administration is against us. As students, we demand the bare minimum, which is to feel safe on campus and for our voices to be heard, for action to be taken.
We want protection rather than the mere illusion of your words. Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So to be a Sikh means to be a student. We follow our Guru's teachings in hopes of living an honest life through praying, earning a living through honest means, and sharing our time and money with others. That is why I am here at UCLA, so I can earn an honest education and use it to get a job and a career where I can help others, and while allowing me the means to also be able to donate my time and money. But while I do have this privilege to be able to obtain this education, it does not mean that oppressions against Sikhs are not occurring and that we still have not faced justice for past crimes against us. It does not change the fact that when someone on campus asks me what that silver bracelet I wear around my wrist every day means, that when I tell them I am a Sikh, they have no clue what it is. That if they do know what it is, they learn from their AP World History textbooks in high school that Sikhism is a subset of Hinduism, which is incorrect. But to be a Sikh also means to be a teacher. We hope that with this resolution passing proclaiming November as Sikh Heritage Month, we also are giving the UCLA student body a chance to be educated on Sikhi and its struggles, to be open to teaching our friends on campus about our religion. But to be a Sikh also means to stand up for others in times of their oppression and stand up for social justice for all people, which is why we condemn Islamophobia all over campus. We want to be there for them. You don't have to be Muslim to support them, guys. We can support them as well. I hope that this campus feels safe for our Muslim brothers and sisters who are just trying to obtain this education and make a change the way we are. I hope they can be safe, inshallah.
I just like one cup of coffee, 15 more minutes. I'm just gonna start talking, because before I go to begin, Al Shifa Hospital is being raided by the Israeli Defense Force because the illegal blockade in Israel has resulted in a lack of electricity at Al Shifa Hospital. 143 patients, 29 ICU patients, and 7 babies have died at Al Shifa Hospital because the electricity has been cut off due to the blockade. I'll keep talking. My name is Ryan Sakura. I use they, he pronouns, and I currently serve as the current co-president of Saha Filipino, one of the 10 mother organizations. And I'm coming here because I don't give a fuck about these bureaucratic rules that seek to silence student voices. Because when students are being raped, obligation to protect the students that are being here. Students are being dogged. Students are receiving death threats. Students are being jumped. Your own council
members of my community who've also faced violence on campus. I've been told by administration, obviously, if you're in direct conflict with someone, like 911, but also if you need to report incidents of hate crimes or anything like that, please go to the DEI office as well as the Dean of Students. I think for cases like this, it's really important to document. Please also feel free. The FSC office is open for any support that you may need and having a direct meeting. But I really, first and foremost, want to say I'm so sorry. No student should be under like this duress or being attacked based on things of their identity. And definitely we'll be posting more resources on our Instagram.
So overlooked. It's so negligent at this point. It's like you want us to be heard. It like doesn't make any sense. This is how this continues. Is that they see there's no repercussion, no mention. So this body is never mentioned. There's no anyway.
I just want to respond to what you said, Sarah. These resources are not enough because just like a member of the student body just said, they put us more in danger. And for you to not to recognize that, and for you to not do anything but say, oh, set up a meeting with me, oh, come to my office, when you haven't even put out a statement with your platform. None of you have had a statement that doesn't stand on some sort of neutrality over genocide. It's just you're not doing enough. They're literally asking you, telling you what to do directly, and you're not doing it. And this is just some sort of like excuse that you're coming up with you're not providing any resources that actually support them. They're telling you what they need. Thank you.
As well as students who are involved in this, are getting racially profiled, are getting jobs, are getting followed, and are being attacked. All stating that they're acknowledged to this Arab, Muslim, even active. Like, we exist, we're not doing well, we're being attacked, and it's not a piece of thing, it's not a piece of shit getting attacked. It's so understood.
I'll definitely be brief. I think I want to first start off by saying that I really appreciate each and every one of you who came to this meeting. Like Sarah said, it took a lot of bravery, and I appreciated every single word. I also acknowledge that everyone who wanted to speak did not have the chance to speak, and that there's probably so many more people who had something that they wanted to say, and that I really wish that you had the chance to say it. And I appreciate the acts of bringing this. Not that it's your responsibility to bring this information to us, but again, just the act is not unheard at all. It doesn't go unheard and definitely not unimplemented. After the last meeting, after the last kind of public comment where we also heard, initially about the fears that Muslim students had on campus. That was definitely something that the Academic Affairs Commission took seriously and that we aimed to address in our statement to put out the biased language that was used by UC President Drake, as well as Chancellor Block, as well as the specific acts of physical violence and harassment against Muslim and Palestinian students at the teaching overall. But it definitely becomes clear as 2 weeks have elapsed since that last statement that AAC has posted, that not only like Chancellor Block just released the other statement that was just, I mean, horrific. It's like a slap in the face, on top of what was released first, as well as the 300 faculty that signed that horrific letter on Sunday. It becomes clear that AAC needs to act again, and so it's definitely not a notice. This will definitely be acted upon. That's a promise that AAC can give you. And I apologize that it did have to come to this, because it's not fair that the burden has been placed on your community alone. I definitely stand with you. AAC definitely stands with you. And it's definitely time to put action behind that. So it will happen.
Yeah, well, I actually, firstly, and I think properly, the microphone should be going back to the students. They elected us and they should have the right to voice. So is there anyone who would like to say something? Because I definitely appreciate all that you all have shared so far.
And recess on this meeting, 10 minutes. Let's speak.
Who wants to speak? Because you all elected us and it's your right.
Why did y'all turn the camera and the audio off? Because we can't understand what's happening in the meeting.
It's turned off on my end. I didn't see that it was turned off. I think it's because basically the mic hasn't been passed around to folks. So I think that's why you're probably not able to hear. I don't have a resolution for you. Next time, just have to be here.
On the holiday chat, we had thought we were calling recess, so I did.
Okay. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate the fact that, like, as a Sikh woman, I stand in complete solidarity with my Muslim family. If there's anything that our faith and our gurus have taught us, it is to stand for and with all oppressed people, all occupied people. And yeah, and also I was told that I was going to get a chance to speak up, like, to read out a resolution today at 7. That didn't happen. So
we haven't gotten to.
Okay.
On the
all right. But I just want to say that again, like, I stand in complete solidarity with the Palestinian people, with all of our Muslim brothers and sisters, and what is going on campus is completely unacceptable. It should not be happening. And if there's anything that we can do as a Sikh community for you all, please let us know. We will always stand with you guys. Yeah.
To be honest, like, I've noticed a bit of the reactions that we've been getting as responses, although that we appreciate some of the statements that have been very supportive. We might seem heated. It's because we have been trying, we have been communicating, we have been trying to work through all these channels. Nothing is working. It is getting to the point where it is just blatant negligence. It is just people not doing their job, or people purposefully wanting to continue this happening. And this is something that we documented. This is something that we have proof of. This has been happening to the extent where it just feels like at this point, the school wants to hurt us. And it does not come as a surprise, to be honest, that most of the people that have been supportive, or most of these student officers that have taken a stance, have been people of color or part of certain communities that have taken a stance, because they understand what it is like to just be completely overlooked by the system that wants to overlook you. And it is just getting to a point where, like, we're begging for y'all to look at us like human beings, and begging for you to just put what you're putting your skin out there literally just means that you would want to condemn the violence that's been done onto the students at this community. And the possibility of putting out a USAC statement is fully into your hands. There is nothing stopping you from doing that, from denouncing what's been happening when your own offices are getting attacked. Like, this is getting to the point where, like, you are even getting backlash from not humanizing us. It just, you need to do something either for the, like, even for your own safety. And it just has to be drastic. We need support. We need support, whether it's student resources, they can't help us. Because the way that we've been treated, it's like we're not even students. It's like we're just here and we're just supposed to take it and we're supposed to be silent. So this is why there's a lot of energy. And I don't condemn any of the passion that's been given today. I stand by the passion that's been given today.
it is fully justifiable. We've all witnessed such horrible things happen and such horrible reactions on the other hand of just complete silence. We should be louder because we're going to be as loud as you try to silence us. And if we're not listened to today, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be back next week, and we'll be back next month, and we'll be bigger in numbers. And we can fill this entire room with stories of students. We can fill this entire building with stories of students, because it's not just now that we've been overlooked for a while, but now it's getting to the point where not only are we overlooked, but we are dehumanized to the extent where something has to be said, or there's a really big issue at this school that just needs us either to get out as a student population because you don't want us here, or you need to say something. It just doesn't make any sense.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to speak? Because again, I'm completely fine being here until midnight. I'm completely fine being here as long as it needs to. Because at the end of the day, we're here for the students, but I want that to be a reminder to all of us. We're here for the students.
I just actually wanted to say something real quick. I think you're the president, right? I feel like you've been a little passive aggressive, and it makes it hard for us to kind of make comments because I think we're supposed to be here to get help from you guys. But like the way you kind of like just keep being rude, it's kind of hard to make comments. It just feels like, okay, maybe this school isn't for us. And I'm not trying to be rude either. I'm just trying to say that like maybe being a little kinder might help, because yeah, I just feel like you've been a little passive aggressive.
Thank you. And if I am aggressive, I do apologize. That is not my intent here. Honestly, in just responding to some folks that have previously spoken up, our meetings are supposed to be ran by a book that's been written ages ago called Robert's Rules of Orders. It's supposed to follow the strength rules. And public comments are only supposed to last 30 minutes. I would love, and when I see this, I truly mean that I would love to listen to y'all for past that, to extend everybody more than 2 minutes of time, because what am I really gonna hear in 2 minutes? What's anybody gonna really hear in 2 minutes? There's so much more that can be said in 2 minutes about some of the things that I've seen, things that have been done to some of y'all that just happened on this campus that have just flown under the radar. That I know, that was not acknowledged in Gene Block's message. I know it wasn't acknowledged in any of the messages that have been said by any of the UC chancellors across the UC, across California. It hasn't been said. I know that. I brought it up in different meetings countless times that this hasn't been acknowledged. I've said it at every meeting that I had with Monroe. I've said it with every meeting that I had with Gene Block. I said it at our little breakfast that we had a couple of days ago. Well, this shit is happening on our campus. I've said that. If I come off as passive aggressive, it's because honestly, it was just, I don't mean to. Going forward, I definitely hear you. I recognize that. Continue.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And as for like going by this book, I feel like it's hard to go by a book when there's like a ethnic cleansing happening right now. I feel like for that we have to make an exception. But thank you for the efforts you have been putting in. I just think we definitely need more.
I would also like to say that this by the book bullshit, part of my language, it doesn't matter, because this may be disrupting your one meeting, but everything that's been happening to us has been disrupting our entire lives, functioning as students, as organizers, focusing on our mental health. We have been under so much stress because of your lack of accountability. And if you really wanted to, like you said, you've been talking about it, put out a statement of your own. If ASU won't put their own statement, then put one of your own. I'm sorry, but like USAC. The point is that you can say I've been talking about it and I've been trying to do this and that, but we haven't seen anything. So back your word and do what we've been demanded, is putting out a statement and acknowledging your students, acknowledging us as Muslims, us as Palestinians, us as allies, because it really, when you say I have to follow the rules by the book, it's frankly, it's just disacknowledging all of our experiences and all of our time here with every single student that's here right now. You're just ignoring us and basically saying I have to follow the rules. The rules don't matter.
when we've been hate crimed and followed and threatened and abused due to the lack of accountability. So I want to first clarify that my peer makes up ASUCLA and USAC due to the similarity in their acronyms. But I want to second again everything that every other speaker has said today. Something that happened last night, specifically to a friend of mine who, out of fear for their identity, is not here. But this friend is a student here at UCLA. This friend was wearing a keffiyeh on campus last night and was pepper sprayed by Zionists. And another friend had to, in an emergency, respond to that, drive her home and take care of her safety because on campus, she wasn't safe. On campus, she was pepper sprayed because she dared to wear a keffiyeh to show support for Palestine, but because it was dark and because people have people have been enabled to think that they can do whatever they want to Palestinian and students supporting Palestine, she was attacked. Because when the chancellor does not say anything, when the UC regents do not say anything, when our elected leaders here at UCLA don't say anything, then these horrible people, these people who would attack Palestinian students and pro-Palestinian students, think that it is okay for them to do this. They are enabled by your lack of action. If you're not condemning the violence that happens against these students, then you are enabling it. It is so simple. And it's because of that my friend was pepper sprayed last night. It's because of that other friends have been physically attacked also on campus. It's because of that students who I've never met have been assaulted on campus. Yet because they have been assaulted for the crime of being pro-Palestine, we share something in common, even though I have never met them before. Yes, exactly. And it's, this racial profiling, this religious profiling leads to the fact that there's so many people, so many brown people and Black people on this campus, for what? For their identity of being Muslim, for their identity of being Arab, from Southwest Asia and North Africa, that they are being profiled and that they are being attacked. And then now, we all have something in common because of that. We're finding commonality in the way that we have been attacked and the way that we've been assaulted. How on earth is that in any way remotely acceptable?
Is there anyone else?
What holds you back from posting something about your frustrations?
I'm sorry.
The ones that you just voiced, all your frustrations about the way that you keep bringing these concerns up and there's no feedback. What holds you back from sharing that?
Sharing it with the community, making a post, something like that.
Yeah.
We were actually in efforts of doing that. We've been trying to schedule a meeting with our daily brand editor-in-chief. I had my communications director reach out to all of the editors-in-chief, and I didn't hear back yet. So we've been following up and definitely trying to continue this conversation in order to get a story out there and get an opinion piece out there. But I'm sorry that it's been slow on that response. It could be a post. It could be a post.
Is there anyone else? If not, okay. And if you're upset and you're on council and you're upset that, our peers got to speak, I hope you're pulling out a piece of paper and you're signing your resignation, because we're here to listen to our peers, and I hope you all get that through your thick skulls.
Okay, I know someone here is to present the resolution on some of our resolutions for tonight. Do you still want to go, Eva, into, wait, is Eva? Yeah. What would you like to do?
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, just.
Well,
I didn't hear your question.
would you like to go into your next, what would you like to do? What do you wanna do?
Change technical announcement.
It was not, we had our.
It was on.
Wait, why would we not vote on it this week?
Jonathan,
Yes, I'd like.
why can't we vote on it too?
Your bylaws state that, it needs to be on the agenda for a week prior to being voted on, so this is the first week that it's been on the agenda, you have to attend.
Can I give a comment about it and then we can take it next week?
I think I presented to us.
Yeah.
The bylaw change that I submitted just ensures that future EVPs uphold our values of supporting the Bird Advocacy Grant and the GROWS grant. The Bird Advocacy Grant, or BAG, is our main office fund for supporting sole registered organizations and their advocacy work. So a lot of that's like attending conferences or like admit weekends, things like that. So just ensuring that it's codified and that future EVPs continue to fund it. And then the GROWS grants, the Grassroots Organizers for Working Students grants. We want to ensure that future EVPs continue to uplift student workers. This grant is intended pretty much to support those who maybe have been forced to quit their job because they wanted to unionize it, and just to support them through that, or to support them buying materials so they can protest, things like that. The bylaw change that we submitted today looks a little bit different than it did a couple hours ago. In our Constitutional Review Committee, we reviewed the mentions of other grants and funding bodies that ran by other USAC entities, and none of them mentioned dollar amounts as a threshold. So we just took that out. That was in the bylaw format document that we submitted, but the Constitutional Review Committee did come to the decision to remove those dollar amount thresholds, just in order to match what other funding entities look like. But the other main goal of this bylaw change is just to ensure that future EVP offices continue to uphold our values of community activism and labor organizing. So that's really it. And I implore everyone to vote yes for this bylaw change when it comes back to council next week.
Thanks. Just realizing that your resolution was not voted on, Jonathan. Do you want to bring that to the? Yeah. Okay. The resolution under.
Firstly, thank you so much for everyone for coming to public comment. I really do appreciate everyone coming despite all the situations and lack of safety on campus. I'd like those, if they want to stay after the meeting. We only have a few items left, but if you'd like to stay to talk to us, please do. Then I would like to call on the student organizations supporting this resolution to acknowledge November as Sikh Heritage Month, to come up and present. If there's a microphone at the front. But thank you all for coming to propose this resolution to me.
Right now.
So I'm just gonna be reading out our resolution. Okay. And USAC resolution to proclaim November as Sikh Heritage Month at UC Los Angeles. Whereas November marks the birth of the founder, Sikh Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Sikhs around the world commemorate November by initiating Nagar Kirtan, holding a Khandpad, a non-stop reading of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and continue the tradition started by Guru Nanak Dev Ji of Langar. And whereas Langar is a foundational Sikh revolutionary space where Sikhs come together to discuss the revolutionary ideas of the House of Nanak, it's a safe space for all oppressed people of the world to share a meal with the Khalsa and to learn about the revolutionary struggle so that they too can take part. And whereas Sikhs have been living in the United States for more than 120 years, and whereas during the 20th century, thousands of Sikh Americans worked on farms and lumber mills, on the railroads, and in mines throughout California and the continental US. And whereas Sikhi is the 5th largest religion in the world, and today there are more than 30 million Sikhs worldwide and an estimated 750,000 Sikh Americans with nearly 500,000 living in California. Whereas Sikh Americans pursue diverse professions and make rich contributions to political, social, cultural, and economic vibrancy of the United States, including significant contributions to agriculture, information technology, small businesses, the hotel industry, trucking, health, and technology. Whereas Sikh Americans distinguish themselves by fostering respect among all people through faith service as well as commitment to truth and justice. And on October 14, 1912, the first Sikh Gurdwara in the United States, Gurdwara Sahib Sikh Temple, was founded by Professor Teja Singh of Pacific Coast Khalsa Divan Society. And whereas Sikh Gurdwara have been beacons for the local community through their fostering of selfless service and community building, and whereas there are parks named in honor of Sikh community in California, such as Jaswant Singh Khadra Park in Fresno, Singh and Bog Park in Elk Grove, and Singh Park in Livingston. And whereas the Sikh genocide began on November 1st, 1984, after the assassination of Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in the capital territory of Delhi, whereas it occurred in the states of Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Odisha, Jammu and Kashmir, Chhattisgarh, Tripura, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Maharashtra. And the Sikh genocide lasted 3 days, and over 30,000 Sikhs were brutally murdered or died, or they were hacked and burned alive in their homes. On July 20, 2023, the California State Assembly unanimously passed Assembly Joint Resolution 2 as a measure to condemn the November 1984 anti-Sikh violence in India as a genocide, and would urge the United States Congress to formally recognize and condemn the November 1984 anti-Sikh violence in India as genocide. Whereas eyewitnesses, journalists, and human rights activists have compiled evidence showing that government and law enforcement officials organized, participated in, and failed to intervene to prevent the killings through direct and indirect means. Whereas, as recently as 2011, mass graves have been discovered in the villages of Pont, Jilad, and Patodi in Haryana, and many more will continue to be discovered in the future as Indian government officials and police continue to flout impunity. And whereas the widow colony, the Tilak Vihar neighborhood in New Delhi, still houses thousands of Sikh women who were forced to bear mass rape and witness the hacking, burning, and murdering of their husbands, fathers, and sons, and who were still calling for justice against the perpetrators. And whereas many Sikhs made the United States their home after escaping persecution at the hands of the Indian government after facing a genocide in 1984, and Sikhs continue to build new roots, partnerships, and possibilities in the United States, and whereas innocent Sikhs in India and around the world, such as Jagdal Singh Johal, are unlawfully abducted, faced with unlawful detention, tortured, and have their human rights trampled upon under draconian and fascist laws in India. And whereas the recent assassination of Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar on Canadian soil by the Indian government agencies of June 2023, and the continued threat, intimidation, infiltration, and espionage by Indian government agencies into Sikh American organizations, Gurdwara, and other institutions deserve condemnation and full inquiry. And whereas Sikhs around the world will continue to stand for justice and raise awareness, such as issues related to the Sikh genocide, Free Jagdi Now, and the farmers' protest. USAC at UCLA is committed to educating our community about world religions, to value diversity, acceptance, and a culture of mutual understanding. And whereas today USAC seeks to further the diversity of its community and afford all residents the opportunity to better understand, recognize, and appreciate the rich history and shared experiences of Sikh Americans and student body organizations at UCLA, such as the Jakarta Movement Chapter, Sikh Student Association, and the Bhagat Kaur Singh Healthcare Initiative. Whereas recognizing the state-sponsored violence that targeted Sikhs across India in 1984 is an important and historic step towards justice, accountability, and reconciliation, which should be an example to other governments, and therefore let it be resolved that USAC condemns the 1984 anti-Sikh violence in India as genocide, and therefore let it be further resolved that the USAC supports the efforts of the Sikh community at UCLA to establish November as Sikh Heritage Month and the official month of remembrance for the Sikh genocide. Therefore, let it be further resolved that the USAC calls on the University of California, Los Angeles, and the UC system to acknowledge November as Sikh Heritage Month on the academic calendar. Therefore, let it further be resolved the USAC encourage students to support their Sikh peers on campus and to better understand as well as to educate other members of the student body on the historic principles of Sikhi and the value of diversity they bring in order to bring all mutual understanding of their grassroots. And therefore, let it be resolved that USAC recognizes November as Sikh Heritage Month. That concludes our proposed resolution, but I would like to add that over the decades, there have been numerous attempts to silence and create a sense of fear amongst Sikhs to prevent us from pursuing meaningful justice and change, resisting and to resist tyranny and fascism. The widow colony, an attempt to annihilate whole bloodlines to ultimately eliminate Sikhs, the abduction, imprisonment, torture of Sikh activists like Jagdak and Johal, and the assassination of Shahid by Hardeep Singh Nijjar are all examples of government's attempts to criminalize and persecute Sikhs to ensure we continue to accept subjugation and oppression and to undermine and delegitimize our struggle for liberation and freedom. But these attempts have failed time and time again. We are still here, our existence and active resistance against a state that wants to eradicate us. I know that for many people in this room, Sikhs and Sikhi, or this is the first time you were hearing about Sikhs and Sikhi, and I would like to say it is not that we have been silent all these years, or that we have not made an active effort to educate folks on our struggle, on who we are and what we believe and what we do, but rather that we have been actively silenced and ignored for far, far too long. And as we address the systematic violence Sikhs endure, it is important that we understand and acknowledge that the violence is not limited to the Indian state, it extends beyond borders. Transnational repression poses a real threat to Sikhs in the diaspora. Other communities continue to receive threats by Indian authorities as we choose to demand justice. However, we will not be silenced. Instead, we are using this as a moment to stand against injustice and demand accountability. If there is anything our faith and our Guru Sahibs have taught us, is that we must always fight for liberation of all oppressed people. We must stand for and with all oppressed and occupied people, including Palestine, especially when it is not popular. We will continue to embody these principles, and that is why we are here today proposing this resolution, because it is important that the institutions we attend, institutions that are supposed to represent us, should not be complicit in the violence and persecution of our people. Instead, they should honor and celebrate our identities. And with that said, I urge USAC to stand in solidarity with Sikhs and all oppressed and all occupied people, those who have and are currently enduring a genocide, but the administrations continue to be silent about it. It is imperative that we condemn state-sponsored violence, whether that is globally and including the Sikh genocide, because it is the first step in pursuing justice. And so we encourage USAC to not simply declare November as Sikh Heritage Month, but to also condemn the November 1984 anti-Sikh violence and recognize it as a state-sponsored genocide. This resolution has already been passed on several UC campuses and cities in the California State Assembly, and it is critical that UCLA also follows suit.
Am I allowed to ask a question, like just real quick to everyone? Yeah, so be honest, like how many times, like have you guys heard of stakes on this campus before? Despite a raise of hands that we have. So despite even having heard of stakes on campus, we have been here for years. And we are one of the largest religions in the world, and yet we don't receive the recognition that we deserve. How is it that so many smaller cities throughout California, even my hometown of Fresno, have recognized Sikhs in multiple different ways? Even outside of their college campuses, they have recognized Sikhs. But UCLA, being one of the largest institutions in the US, has failed to recognize Sikhs to this day. So coming from a smaller community, all we're asking for is support in helping pass this resolution.
Is there a motion? Oh.
So, kind of going off of what Bill Raj said, Sikhism is the fifth largest religion in the world, with more than 30 million Sikhs worldwide. and an estimated 750,000 sick Americans. Despite fostering respect among all people through faith and service, the Sikh community continues to experience discrimination and hardship. It is essential for our communities to create awareness around the Sikh religion and their tenets of love, service, and justice. Growing up, when someone asks about my religion, I would give a response and be faced with a look of confusion. But as I got older, people knew about Sikhism, but to this day, I still get the occasional raised eyebrow. To add on, I come from a small town as well, in a county of Central California, where last year a proclamation recognized the month of November as Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month in Tulare County. A small region has made such a commitment to the Sikh community, and I hope to see that same execution at a largely recognized university, which is here at our campus, UCLA. With this ideology, I hope to see USAC execute the same for our Sikh American students on campus. I can only hope that this resolution will bring awareness to our society and future generations, especially to the Sikh and non-Sikh students of UCLA. Thank you.
I move to pass the resolution to urge the UC to acknowledge November as Sikh Heritage Month.
I second. Releasing the motions, many seconds, all fair, please raise your hand. Please lower your hands. All against, please raise your hand. All abstain, please raise your hand. All right, moving 11 to 0 vote, that's approved. Thank you.
Yeah, I have two things on the agenda. I'm going to try and keep them as quick as possible. Just want to reiterate what Megan said about encouraging all of you guys to stay after. I know that that 2-minute public comment is not a great way to get anything kind of resolved. It's a very limiting format. So I hope that after this meeting, we can have a little bit more productive conversation after this. I'll go quickly through our two things. I'm not going to read them out verbatim, but happy to answer any questions. First one is Kitty Yaroslavsky, that's our CD5 representative for Council District 5. It's talking about the Westwood Gateway Scramble Crossing. This is something that the UCLA Transportation and the Facilities Commission work very closely to get approved, which is finally approved. It's just about finding funding. So this is something which I'm sure if anybody who's ever walked between, campus and the apartments knows, not particularly safe, can often be a scary place. I've personally know friends who have gotten hit at that intersection. So it's just talking about, this way that is a common sense way to make that a safer intersection. And it's fairly cheap to implement. So if there's any questions, comments, or concerns on that one, it's a pretty short letter as well. Eva, please.
We have EVP has a meeting with Katie December 1st. So if she ignores you, whatever, let's chat and I can do that.
She just might, so I'll be in contact.
December 1st.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Sign the letter urging the prioritization of a scrap market pedestrian crossing.
You have a motion, Sheen, seconds, on fair, please raise your hand. Please lower your hands. All against, please raise your hands. All abstain, please raise your hands. All right, we have a 10 to 0 vote, that's approved. Moving to your next.
Yeah, this next one, I'll try and keep it just as quick. There's just a little bit more involved with this one. So the Healthy Streets LA ballot measure is a response to the city council. In 2015, we passed two measures. One of them was called the 2035 mobility plan. The other one was called Vision Zero. Vision Zero is very common in a lot of cities. It's all about reducing pedestrian and cycling fatalities to zero is the idea. The mobility plan outlined basically this very broad idea for decarbonizing Los Angeles's transportation infrastructure, but also improving safety, specifically safety in communities that have been previously neglected. When it comes to traffic safety, we tend to see that violence is much higher in marginalized lower income communities throughout Los Angeles. So far, the city has implemented 3% of its mobility plan, and that's 2022. So on our current pace, instead of being this completed in 2035, it will be sometime in the 2090s. There's an organization called Streets for All, which is all about combating traffic violence. There's a couple of statistics I do just want to read out just to make sure that we understand the gravity of the situation. So traffic violence in Los Angeles has surged to record highs this year. There have been 312 people killed in traffic accidents in 2022. That's the highest annual death toll in 2 decades, and it's a 5% fatality increase. Pedestrian fatality rate in Los Angeles is 4 times the national average, with 128 pedestrians killed and 486 severely injured in 2021. Pedestrians killed once every 3 days in the city. We also have one of the highest, if not the highest, cycling fatality rate as well. In most of those bicycle fatalities, 85% of them are occurring in roads that lack dedicated bike infrastructure. In Los Angeles, we have something called the high injury roadway. That's the 6% of LA streets that account for 70% of traffic fatalities. Westwood Boulevard's been on there since the beginning. So these are impacts and things that very intimately affect the UCLA campus, but also just the wider community. There's a lot more statistics in there, but ultimately in the therefore be it resolved section of it, what we've been doing as the Facilities Commission is we've been creating a coalition called Students for Safer Streets. It's been outreach with a lot of other LA-based colleges, community colleges, and universities. It's really making sure that when this ballot initiative does go on, also just quickly, the ballot initiative itself, what it would basically do is that if it's adopted by the voters of the city of Los Angeles, it would require the city of LA to follow their own mobility plan. So right now, when they repave the streets, they continue with the same very unsustainable infrastructure, unsafe infrastructure, and they don't really make any of the changes that they've promised to implement. This would require them, every time that they do repave the streets, to follow their own mobility plan, essentially what they've already studied and said that they were going to do. So what this would do with the Students for Safer Street Coalition is all about getting out the vote, making sure that we do have students involved in that every step of the way. And then the other thing too is we collaborated with EDP on this one to talk about some different Bruins votes initiatives and just getting out the vote generally. The election date for this one is going to be on March 5th of next year, 2024. It's a little bit off time, so it's really important that we get as many student voices there as possible. Happy to answer any questions on this one.
Thank you. If no questions, can I have a motion?
I motion to vote on the resolution to support the Healthy Streets LA ballot measure.
Second.
Megan motions, Sujana seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. Please raise your hands. All against, please raise your hands. All abstaining, please raise your hands. All right, with 11 to 0 vote, that is approved. Thank you. Now moving on to a discussion item from Lucy.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
And I'll just mention before, prior to your arrival, Jessica mentioned in her, administration report, our comms board would be kind of the main links, to the oversight of the data program, as the funds that are given from student fees go directly to the student media and not through us, so there wouldn't be anything we can do to withhold anything if those measures were going to be discussed. The comm board, we have 2 current appointments there out of 5. There are 1 seat is open for the chancellor representative to appoint, and then 2 seats are also additional open to me. We had the communication director, I believe, may apply that we were posted on our behalf, but we are definitely trying to build up for me. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. Technically, we have oversight, like the connection with the appointments for to have the power to defund the data Bruin. I think that's a really important conversation to have. I'm not making any sort of action right now. I just wanted to open up this discussion because since for a while now, but I'm just going to talk about the past month of the articles that have been coming out from the Daily Bruin. It's crazy. They don't even hide their bias anymore. They don't even hide they're not doing their job as journalists. And they get over 200K in funding, where student ran publications like Al-Talib or Fan News or Nomo, just to name a few, don't get nearly as much, don't get enough space, don't get enough resources. Like there's so many publications that are actually ran by students who experience some of the most marginal positionalities on campus, who are actively experiencing hate crimes on campus, and whose publications are actually doing a service to students and not participating in the support of genocide, in the support of the violence of these students. They said that what happened to my office
was like an alleged situation. And that is just crazy because all of your offices bared witness to what happened to me. And we have the power to do something about an entity that is promoting violence. I'm just gonna talk like from October 13th. They had this newspaper where it had this huge headline that had a weird sizing, placement, and wording saying that what's happening in Palestine is a conflict. And like nothing was done about it. Nothing was changed. Nothing came out of the Daily Bruin. One of their chiefs is a Zionist openly, and then it just got worse. It got worse over time. Like the reporting, they didn't even report that a Zionist rally that happened earlier this month. There was a grown man with a sign that said Hamas, Islam said, who was harassing a member who came to public comment today, and they didn't report that. And they said it was a peaceful gathering full of Zionists who don't go to the school, the same Zionists that came to my office and violently yelled at my office. Not only that, but another one of their articles, like all of their headlines are actually just like so wrong that they don't acknowledge the land we're on. They don't acknowledge the actual like recorded facts of the situation. And then they misconstrue what happened at our rally. They misconstrued that one of our chants, they said it was Israel, you can't hide, we charge you with genocide. When we clearly said UC, and you all can see our chant on our social media and at our rallies. We said UC because the UC directly funds BlackRock in its investment. And while Israel is funding genocide, like it's not okay for one of the largest publications, not just in UCLA but in LA, to be reporting like this. And I just wanted to open up that table and that discussion because I'm not sure how y'all feel about Daily Bruin, but what they're doing is actually so violent. So I just wanted to open up that conversation. Thank you. And all of you as well with your experiences. You can have the mic.
Yeah, I just want to echo the sentiments of what Alicia mentions. In my position as La Gente's managing editor, so I'm the second person in charge of La Gente besides our editor-in-chief, of course. La Gente was built off because Daily Bruin and publications similar to it refused to cover Latinx issues. There are a variety of news magazines catered to specific communities on our campus that were made because the Daily Bruin refused to make a space for them. And people had to fight and protest for those. So I just want to remind you all the history behind this publication and that the fact that these news magazines, like you mentioned, student ran, we don't have a lot of money. I know the financials because I've seen it because again, I'm managing editor. It's not good. And while Daily Bruin gets whatever it wants, the rest of our publications are quite literally shoved to the back. Fun fact, you can't access any of the news magazine's offices via the Daily Bruin office. You have to take the back entrance. If that doesn't sound like 1960s segregationism, I'm not sure what else will. But yeah, just echoing off the sentiments what Alicia said, it's awful.
Okay, we're going. Tara's up and we'll go Gabby and then we'll go to Gabby.
Mine is actually for Sarah. It's just like her Zoom isn't working for some reason.
Oh, okay. Sarah? Sarah?
Oh, my bad. I would also be in favor of reducing funding to the Daily Bruin, similarly to La Gente. Nomo was the first like cultural based ethnic newspaper chartered here at UCLA, and similarly to what Jonathan said, it was created because the Daily Bruin was explicitly anti-Black. It did not represent the interests of the Black student population. Members of the African Student Union literally had to go found this newspaper in the 1960s to have that space. The Daily Bruin is able to print newspapers almost, I think, every week or something. I see those newspapers coming out. ethnic newspapers like NOMO cannot even print stuff out for the general student body to have access to. It's been a really big issue in terms of them making information accessible to the student body. So I agree with both Alicia and Jonathan. And I think we also need to have a conversation about how the Daily Bruin reports in general. I mean, they don't even report on the transfer student population, which is 30% of the population. I hear what you're saying, Jessica, about the appointment that needs to be made, but that's still something that is a general concern that they're not taking into consideration. And as the media outlet that we are technically supposed to have oversight over, I don't think that I appreciate the sentiments that they've expressed on their Instagram as well. If any of y'all have looked, a lot of students have been frustrated with the way that the Daily Bruin has been reporting on what's going on in Palestine. A lot of people have called for the Daily Bruin to have some kind of like decency when they're reporting on students. And if they're not able to do that in general, they need to pass the baton and they need to give the resources to students who are actually going to do that. So that's my kind of 2 cents.
I think what would be beneficial is for USAC members that do want to be involved and have a seat at the table, we have a conversation with their communication director who oversees basically like has, I think it's monthly meetings with all the editors in chief. And to talk with her about some of these concerns, I think that'd be very productive. We recently met her, me and Megan recently met her at one of the ACLA's like kind of meet and greets. So we can definitely try and dig for the email and send it in the Slack and also communicate with our communications appointments that we have currently. That was just sent into the Slack as well. To move forward the conversation, but I know others want to speak as well.
Eva has been.
Oh, sorry, Eva.
Yeah, I think in future conversations that we have with the comms board, I think it would be interesting to ask them if they know like how Daily Bruin's like budget is. Because like in defunding them, I would want to know like if that money is being taken away from like a student stipend, for example, versus like their ability to print, for example. I guess I just want to know like what that process would look like. And then also I think on the administrative side of things, like if that money can be reallocated towards the other like identity-based smaller like news magazines on campus. Like I have friends in some of them, like I've seen their stipends. And even for like really high up like positions in these magazines, they are a lot smaller than the work and the labor that they put in for it. So I think like in these discussions that we have about defunding Daily Bruin, if this were to like happen, I would be interested in like that money going like to these other like smaller, also student run magazines. And yeah, again, just to reiterate, I'd be interested in knowing like how their funding works. I'm just very uneducated about this.
Good. Oh, and Megan's about to send the email into the stuff. We'll go Alicia then.
Sarah.
Oh. Sarah what?
Sarah had a comment, her just like raising hand button isn't working.
Okay, so we'll go to Alicia and then Sarah.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for bringing that up. Like, labor is a really major issue. And I didn't consider that, but I also don't think that like the staff of a lot of these publications is even paid at all. And again, these students had to make publications because Daily Bruin didn't represent them, didn't even have any of their staff like as people of color, or as LGBTQ people, or as Muslim student, like et cetera. And I also do want to emphasize a lot of the Daily Bruin staff isn't even like aren't by POC because like because of the I don't know the environment that the Daily Bruin has like you have to be like I don't know like unbiased when they're very clearly like it's just like really disgusting. So I just want to emphasize that as well. And like if it comes to like redistributing those stipends like and sharing them like in equity, like that's a really important point too. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so oh, Megan's here.
I really do appreciate you bringing this up. I think what we mentioned earlier, the communication, we have appointments to the communications board open right now, we have 3. So that is definitely something I'll be asking, like during ARC interviews, like when they're going through the process of being appointed, like how are you going to keep like these publications, especially the Daily Bruin, like accountable? Because there has been a very unfortunate lack of, what's it called? Media, yeah, coverage. So definitely there'll be something I'll be asking during these communication board appointment interviews.
Yeah, but, Shane.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia, for bringing this up. I'm just wondering, like, before we have, because appointments take time. Is there anything we can do like now to set up meetings with? I'm not sure whether a meeting is like the best way forward, but like to rectify the situation now and really air the grievances. I know that on the comment section, I think we all have seen that the outrage over the coverage, but I'm wondering whether like USAC can leverage our position to like set up something official to communicate this with Daily Brew and the people in charge.
As I said previously, I've emailed all the editors in chiefs and haven't gotten a response back for just something that I wanted to ask. So I think this going through Doria Dean, which we just put into the Slack, will be the best to set up a meeting. Actually, the ASC media director. And so I think that'll be good. But Jonathan?
Did you reach out just to the EICs for Daily Bruin or?
No.
I would say reach out to them directly because from my insight, ASUCLA Student Media doesn't have the best operation either. I'd honestly try reaching out to the EICs directly.
Okay, yeah. Because I asked Doria for their emails. So, okay. But thank you. Okay. With that, our meeting is adjourned at 8:32 p.m. Folks that stick around, if you would like to come up this.